is the damage up. It was just the damage up. At the end of the day, his spells are really good, especially on support. Like, it's a big slow at level 1. It's an escape as well. The fire spirits with the attack. His spells have so much utility that it was ridiculous how much damage they did to begin with. So the hero is still very viable. It's just less of a killing hero. He needs to be kind of working in tandem or ganking for someone. He can't just solo kill his lane anymore.
Yeah. Phoenix reminds me a little bit of Wind Ranger in the sense that if you can land the skill shots, the hero looks amazing. You know, if you're hitting your Icarus dives, you've got your fire spirits on point. If you can hit your fire spirits on most of the heroes, the supernova is amazing. But easier said than done. Fire spirits not the easiest ability
on Earth. Navi have picked up 4 heroes which all look like supports. They got the Earthshaker, Phoenix, Lich, Rubik. Is this a Dendi Shaker?
I was just thinking that maybe Dendi Core Shaker. I think the one hero that we know pretty much for sure it will be advanced score Rubik. I think that one I'm pretty confident. Havost Troll seems pretty likely as well. So, you know, it's about who's going to be on that Dendi. Echo Slam, yes, I mean, some pretty good setup around the Phoenix. You've got some stuns. Also, the Troll-Phoenix combo is pretty good. You think about Troll good against Phoenix because of the battle trance, but the Whirling Axe is pretty good against keeping that egg alive.
Yeah, the big thing, and AoE stuns in general, like I've seen like Sanking Earthshaker, just AoE stuns. If they try to focus on the egg, you always, in a team fight, Earthshaker should be saving his fissure for a post-egg, so if they focus the egg, he uses his fissure to try counter-initiate, and then, as you mentioned, the Whirling Axe is another way to help. So.
But here we go. Evermore going to be the final pick for SpeedGaming.
They need another carry. They wanted to be a B carry, so be off the fire spirits and then kill the egg ideally, and potentially a hero that can match up alright in the mid lane against an Earthshaker too. Definitely want to go like a ranged hero there.
Right, so our second day here on BTS1 getting started a little bit late for this second heat. After this, we'll still have 3 more heats coming. Still a lot of Dota 2 coming your way for the opening day of the Dota 2 Asia Championships. Today is the wild card. Only 2 of the 6 teams in this group stage will move on to the main event, and those 2 teams will be decided tonight in actually just a matter of mere hours. I'm Zyori, joined by David Parker. Thank you so much for sticking with us during the break here on BTS1, kind of the multicast stream, if you will. And I think we should introduce some teams here. Radiant side, we've got SpeedGaming. They'll start with 4 players in their jungle to keep it safe. Funnick gets a ward down, and we'll be able to Icarus dive away. But right away, Sentry and...
You leave the trail of destruction with the trees getting chopped down. It's
pretty good for SpeedGaming out of the gate. So offlaner, yep, that'll be the old clockwork here. Dire side, how do they set up these lanes, gods?
I think you go Lich Phoenix offlane and Earthshaker mid, Rubik Troll safe lane. That's the kind of logical way to do things. Go
Black Lich, Funnick on the Phoenix, and yeah, that leaves Dendi on the Core Shaker mid. Yep. 3 is kind of risky from Navi here.
Both teams have good roamers. I guess Navi just have the single support. You can do it in the Rubik, and for SpeedGaming, it's Venge as well. Skywrath is kind of a support duo that can both roam and gank very well, or Venge can roam mid while the Skywrath maybe zones out the offlane. So for Earthshaker, any kind of Rubik lift to set up a couple totems is going to be a kill on the SF. Similarly, any kind of rotation on the Earthshaker. Earthshaker is a bit tankier and more durable than an SF, has got defensive stuns, but both of those heroes, a gank is going to lead to a kill.
Okay. So Dendi should be able to find some farm in the beginning parts of this stage, or in this lane, without too much trouble until that Shadow Fiend starts racking up the souls and getting the big damage. He'll have a little bit of a lessening edge.
Soul from the ward to kill. He got the kill on the
I was wondering where that soul came from. Actually, I was looking at it.
Yeah,
that's nice. That's cheeky. You used to see that strategy with the Venomancer on the same team, and you just put him into Roche, and then next thing you know, that Shadow Fiend starts the lane with 7 souls or so.
Yeah, cute
little cheesy strategy, but you don't see that too often. Anymore, at least.
Yeah, so SF versus Earthshaker, I think will be not as... SF, it'll be pretty even for the first few minutes, but then it'll become more and more SF favored once he can just raise spam out the wave, but not a lane we'll see kills until the supports start rotating. The offlane, though, this is a pesky lane. Any Lich dual lane in the offlane is always like a... It's just like you lose so much XP. You have to have your pull camp, and SpeedGaming just using double pulls to good effect here.
Yeah, Funnick trading blows with the Skywrath Mage. He'll feel okay for now. Going with the double Ring of Protection opener. So Phoenix, a hero notably low starting armor at a whopping 0. Desperately needs that for the EHP. I think a smart build from Funnick.
Yeah. think it's the way that he really loves the double ring of protection.
Yeah, he does it on a lot of heroes.
He's one of the few players who still does it. Like his Jakiro's still when Navi flick it, he's still doing a lot of this double ring.
Yeah. Oh, he loves it on Jakiro. He just moves right into fast Tranquils and Basilius. Really, it's actually a very strong opener on that hero in particular. The Lich in the off lane can be very potent, but as we've seen in the past, it takes a bit of finesse. One misstep, one unnecessary death, and you've basically just handed over all that experience you've gained from the sacrifice. So even though it's very good, it does require a lot of discipline to pull off and really starve your opponents.
Yeah, it's one of those things like you can be kind of denying all the farm, but then all it takes is them to get like one kill because Lich is. I mean, you got a Nova, but it's not going to be the best fighter. That's going to be like the end of. Like suddenly you lose all that farm advantage you got. So
yeah, exactly.
Danny's struggling mid. He's been forced back to base. SF doing a good job there. He's got complete control, and this is where the first 2 minutes is kind of even, but then SF he hits level 3, gets the 2 points and raises, and he's just got the better creep block as well. Initially, Danny had on his hill, but once he lost the creep block, Earthshaker just gets bullied out of the lane.
Yeah, and this is where things get really difficult. You see the Shadow Fiend at level 4. He's got 22 souls. That damage nearing 100. Dendy. Well, he's got the damage when he has the totem up, but it's just the harassment in lane. He just can't take auto attacks from the Shadow Fiend.
And he's not getting runes as well. SpeedGaming making sure that's how he stays in lane. He could have maybe bottle crowed, but it would. I guess the career was being used elsewhere, or was just not in position to do so.
Yeah. So how's the Clockwork doing? If we look up top, down bottom, see some initiation. Funny, go Icarus dive out. All right, doing a good job with the Phoenix, leeching XP, but able to survive.
I think SpeedGaming actually handling this dual lane pretty nicely here. They're just. I mean, Lich is denying XP, but it's the same thing with these creep pulls. They're getting denies as well, and Phoenix tries to come in. That zone out is still a good trade for SpeedGaming. They zone out the Phoenix so he doesn't pester their pulls too much.
Ooh, now in the bottom lane, initiation onto Go Black. He's silenced, taking the fiery swords. That's your first blood. Skywrath Mage finds it with an auto attack, and SpeedGaming strike first in the bottom lane. Now commandeering this 2-on-3.
Yep. Now 4-minute runes are coming out. Oh, Dendy tried to block off the SF going there, but SF got on the correct side of the fissure, so he can contest this rune. And not a fight Navi can take. Yeah,
Rubik trying to do what he can, but not going to secure the rune.
He's so much trouble here. The courier's coming out now, but it's going to be a while before that. I think he almost has to walk back to base. If he gets hit by a raise, like, the Bottle Crow is going to be so slow that I think Dendy once again is out of this lane.
Yeah, he gets hit by one raise there, another one takes him to critical HP.
It's not even worth Bottle Crowing at this point. I mean, he still will, I guess, but it's going to be so long before he can get any farm.
This is really rough, and this is sort of what I was picturing in my head when I saw Core Shaker. Okay, it's fun. It's cool when they get the space and can snowball, but he's just not a potent laner against a hero like Shadow Fiend. He's got the huge range advantage, the huge burst advantage, and what can the Earthshaker really do here without any kind of support?
Surprised Rubik hasn't rotated off the lane to go for a gank. The two SpeedGaming supports aren't even helping out the mid lane because SF is doing so well. They're just like, great,
Dendy's
getting crushed.
I mean, Havost is the last hit leader right now in the top lane with about 34 CS. Rubik making that a reality for him, but even Clockwork getting some okay farm, 11 CS, nice cogs there to burn some mana, push him back. I feel like Rubik's time could be better spent rotating to the mid and at least helping Dendy secure these runes. Obviously tried on the 4-minute mark, but Rubik, almost level 4, getting decent experience, has his boots. At some point, they need to put some resources into keeping the Shaker safe. But down bottom, Funnick initiated on, and, well, the same trio, very, very potent. Ancient Seal to lock him down, the stun, the burst damage. Not an easy trio of heroes to deal with.
At this point, all three lanes going pretty well for SpeedGaming. I think they'd like maybe a little more farm in the Atmosphere, but again, this is the Lich effect. Lich will deny the farm, but the dual lane will give up those kills, so it's always really tricky there. And Clockwork at top, I think he's actually doing okay here. Like, you don't expect the Clock to do that much against a Rubik troll lane. He's hit level 5. Clockwork's a hero who doesn't need to be getting farm as an offlane, unlike certain offlaners, so he doesn't not relying on a Blink Dagger or anything. As soon as he hits 6, he can go gank Dendy and do a lot of damage.
Speak of the devil, Dendy getting rotated on here. A smoke from SpeedGaming catches him unaware. Shadow Rays will not connect, and he'll actually live. Sips the bottle and can come back to lane, so this rendered a bit ineffective. Oof. Skywrath making it out. Would have been a big kill for Na'Vi there, but not going to find it.
And SpeedGaming still so much control. They get both runes. SF gets the top rune. Ember Spirit gets the bottom rune, so they refill both their bottles. Ember at this point can be left alone a bit. Once he hits 6, Go Black can be solo killed by an Ember Spirit with ease. Phoenix even struggles a bit, like the dive away you can't fully rely on against the Fire Remnant chase, so it's going to get pretty rough here. This is like, these two supports have been kind of focusing on the laning stage, but now they're going to be super active on the map, the Venge and Skywrath.
Yeah, and that's where the defensive Lich, I feel like, can become a little bit of a liability. Sure, you've got some presence in lane. We see the setup here on the Ember Spirit, throws out the Searing Chains. He's probably going to fall. Funix mans up, stands his ground, gets the kill there, but now the supports joining the party. A few more auto attacks will bring down the Phoenix. That'll secure the kill. Now Go Black stunned up. One more from the Venge. It's a 1 for 2 as SpeedGaming clean it up despite losing their Ember Spirit.
Yeah. Ember's so close to 6, he doesn't want to like leave the lane when his supports are far away. It's kind of slightly greed at the same time. If he gets that level 6 from the lane, he suddenly becomes invincible and can go for kills like crazy. So it's worth getting that bit of greed there. And hey, his supports turning around is the icing on top of that. So he'll get an easy level 6 now, and then the supports can just probably go around with the Clockwork, who's getting close to that level 6. That's the thing. It's not just supports who are about to get active. It's this level 6 Clockwork who's about to do a lot on this map.
Yeah, right now for Na'Vi, it is Havost. He is their saving grace, still the last hit leader, and he's the one that's going to have to make these plays happen. Racking up a lot of farm up top, Phase Boots, Morbid Mask, feeling okay, and whoa, down bottom, Funnick actually gets taken out as they get close to diving that tower. All right, just looks like a little more of the same, just that huge combo. Not easy for him to deal with.
Yep. Once Ember Spirit gets rolling, that's a bad sign. Ember Spirit now level 6, so...
Ooh. Dendy doing a lot of damage to Shadow Fiend here. The dunk to cancel the Requiem. Nicely played by the Earthshaker. The hasted Dendy finds a solo kill and a much-needed one at that.
Beat him to the rune, and Dendy catches a break. He's still behind SF's 49 CS to Dendy's 24, but that's a solo kill, gets Dendy up to level 8. That's a huge boost to him here in the early game.
Yep. Yeah, it really is. And that'll get him some progress towards the Blink Dagger. Probably wants Arcane Boots first. If he does, he'll be able to pick those up. Top lane, yeah, there we go. Initiation onto the Clockwork, set up from the Rubik, and Havost will be happy to secure that one as he throws out some axes. Now down bottom, Funnick again, the triple Remnant forward. They could actually punish this. Chain Frost flying through will bounce across the two heroes. And not going to go for the Ember Spirit. Instead, they opt for the Skywrath Mage. He even doubles back a little bit. I want to say making some space for the Ember Spear, but it looks like he just TP'd home, so easy kill for Go Black there, and Na'Vi ending a couple streaks actually gives them a nice little boost.
Yeah, that was a nice little help for them. I guess they still lost Phoenix. Funnick in the offlane, like you do this Lich dual lane in the offlane, you expect the Phoenix to get good farm, good levels, and he's seeing on 6 CS, 0-4.
He is dead last on net worth. It's the only hero in triple digits. That hurts.
That's just the opposite of what that Lich dual lane's meant to accomplish. Like,
now
Na'Vi love giving Funnick farm. Like, normally he's playing more of a kind of semi-carry hero. Phoenix much more a utility hero, but they love giving him farm regardless because his impact is very item-dependent in general.
Yeah, we talked about those stats a little while ago, and oh, the hook shot, it'll actually miss. Funnick will probably still die here, I think. No, the Icarus dive. Hits the peak. It's a close call, but the silence expires with just enough time to make the escape.
Guy's like, I got this.
Oh, no. Funnick, he almost makes it out. Now they'll punish the Skywrath, though. They'll trade a 1-for-1, it looks like.
They just want to be funny.
So, okay.
Funnick being, at times, the Na'Vi playmaker, but he's definitely not been in the best form as of late, so...
Yeah, relative to other offlaners, Funnick gets a lot more farm priority, and he's about tied with Dendy on average in terms of the percentage breakdown in farm, which is pretty atypical. I mean, what do you do as Phoenix when you're this far behind? Not even boots. He had 2 rings of protection. It looks like he sold one to buy a TP or a potion. I mean, that's how poor he is, gods. He's selling his rings. He's at the pawn shop.
Well, I don't think he's gonna be going back to collect them later. So.
Na'Vi lose their first tier 1 tower in the bottom lane as Speed group up, and this is quickly getting a little scary. Only 1,000 net worth, but the momentum way in favor of the Radiant.
And look at Na'Vi's lineup, like you've got all, I mean, it's a very support-centric lineup, so you kind of met, like, Phoenix, Rubik, Lich, not really much ability to transition to late game. The Earthshaker can be that kind of semi-carry late game. You can itemize him as a carry, it's kind of gimmicky, but does work to some extent, but I just feel like SpeedGaming, they've got such a, like, they've got Ember Spirit SF, a much better dual core lineup, they've got strong supports, Venge who scales well, can amplify the physical damage, has the swap as a defensive tool. Na'Vi just don't have anything that really matches up as far as their supports, and just like their Phoenix is not going to offer anything near the same in the late game. Na'Vi need to make something happen with Dendy's Blink.
I am pretty inclined to agree here. This Troll is getting good farm, but Havost can't pick this whole game up and put it on his back. Oh, we'll see. Speaking of the devil, Havost even losing out some of his farm here. Shadow Fiend goes for power treads, and what's that coming on the curry? Oh my, Havost up top! Oh no, now we're going to get the Skywrath turnaround. Dendy will have a Blink Dagger shown off here. And they'll trade 1 for 1, but not what Na'Vi were looking for.
Havost is like, sweet, I dodged the hook shot. Another.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's go round 2. But yeah, I guess it was slight. That to me looked like slightly miscommunication, because then he's like, hey, I'm coming. Just bait him a little bit longer, and Havost probably took like, I mean, I don't know how it works, but Havost either thought, okay, I'll go back in, and then he'll be blinking in any second. But the timing just wasn't quite there. That's just a bit of a misplay as far as the team synergy.
Yeah. So at least Dendy has his blink now. And he'll square up with the clockwork. Yeah, this is just an awkward movement from him. That battery's all going to do the bulk of the damage. Venge on her way in and makes it an easy one. Shadow Fiend gets there a little late. Looks like he'll be moving into a BKB coming up next. Ogre Club here. So no Hand of Midas, no like farm accelerator, but he's ready to fight.
Bottom tower is under attack.
So, I mean, at this point, SpeedGaming actually able to go from objective to objective against a very early game-centric lineup of Na'Vi, and that's really...
Down bottom, initiation onto the Ember Spirit. Rubik stole the silence, gives him a taste of his own medicine as he now steals the fire, or the Flame Guard rather. Nice pick on the Ember Spirit down bottom, but meanwhile up top, SpeedGaming just pressuring this tier 1 tower. Na'Vi glyph it, but there will be no defense in sight.
The SF is doing well. He's overtaken Havost now after the kill as well as the tower, so the SpeedGaming, at this point they're running these 2 calls, so if they're getting objectives, getting farm on one of them while the other gets ganked, it's still progress in some sense. So this Ember is actually, like, he's pretty under-leveled, pretty under-farmed. Normally this is the stage of the game where Ember's kind of controlling the tempo at like the 12 to 15 minute mark, so he's a little bit behind, for sure.
Yeah, it looks like he'll just go pretty standard here. Phase boots, drums, nothing too crazy. I do like the choice to grab drums. Give him a little bit of an edge now, beef up a little bit, and maybe open up some possibilities.
He doesn't really need to be that high DPS carry anytime soon. I mean, the natural transition is into a Battle Fury, but for now, he wants to fight with his team.
Yeah. So SpeedGaming living up to the kind of reputation they're setting for themselves here with this aggression and unrelenting at that. Constantly finding avenues to pressure Na'Vi, keep them out of their comfort zone, and again, the rune control. A 14-minute rolls around, they get the regen and the bounty.
Yep. They've got here, like the Ember Spirit especially, you can make a lot happen with the runes. Clockwork, similar thing, if he gets a high impact rune, so... Na'Vi constantly just on the back foot playing defensive.
Yeah. Alright, Funix, oh my. Remnant in the trees. Almost sees him. That's a little close for comfort if you're Funix, given how slow, or how far behind he is here.
Yeah.
He does have his Tranquil Boots, so that's a step in the right direction at least.
They're flying out here. He needs to be careful. If Ember could fire him afterwards.
And, oh, okay.
He
misses the chains.
Yeah. That's a kill. Or either that or he forces... I guess he forces a supernova, maybe.
Yeah. It's a little bit tough to land those chains when you don't quite have the vision, but unfortunate for the Ember Spirit.
Right. Well, SpeedGaming, I'm pretty happy with the tempo. They're getting farm all across the board. They're being much more efficient than their opponents. And for Na'Vi, I feel like they just can't keep sitting back and just saying, okay, Havost is free farming. He's out farming them and kind of, I mean, on par with the SF.
The later it goes, it just seems like it'll be harder for Na'Vi.
Yeah, I think you've got this Earthshaker Blink, you've got your Phoenix Supernova, even if your Phoenix doesn't have items. Like, you've got heroes that can be pretty high impact just based on spells alone. Like, you look at a Lich. Lich is going to transition to a mech, but not really late game as far as their spells go. This is kind of their peak in some sense for a lot of these heroes.
Yeah. For Lich, I mean, the armor helps scale a little bit towards that late game, but yeah, nothing too crazy. It's an okay game for Rubik. There aren't a lot of great spells for him to steal, though.
Not check. And
like the Venge Stun's pretty good. The Silence from Skywrath is pretty good, but there isn't like that Ravage, you know, that big black hole, or just some crazy ability that Rubik's really looking for here. We'll see the Ember Spirit in the front lines. Those are chains that connect onto Vanscore. Funnick will reveal himself from the tree line, shoots out some Fire Spirits, and that will kind of repel SpeedGaming for now as their 5-man push comes to an end. But we got a big item pickup here, guys. That's the BKB on one Shadow Fiend as he grabs this 16-minute rune.
SpeedGaming, they don't really want to be just giving up free.
Hook shot up
gets
top.
it.
Grabs Havos, but now the Whirling Axes come out, and I'm not sure that this is where the Clockwork wants to be. Ooh, the Skywrath just in the nick of time brings him down, and Havos gonna pay for that one.
That's one of the, like, you compare that game to the one where Dendy looked to back up Havos, and SpeedGaming just a bit more on point, making better calls. Like, end of the
Very
day,
crisp.
Clockwork had faith in his team, like, knew the timing a bit better as far as when Skywrath would show up to save his life, whereas with Dendy and Havos earlier, it was just slightly off. The play so far, SpeedGaming has just been better.
Oh, they'll get initiation onto the Shadow Fiend. Dendy sets it up with a solo dunk, hits him with the maxed out totem, and the damage is there with the Chain Frost from Go Black. Yeah. Nicely done.
Nifty kill to get. SF is...
It's a needed kill to get.
yeah, yet to get on the scoreboard, but at the end of the day, this SF is still in a good position as far as his farm goes. I mean, it's, I guess, similar to kind of Havos, who's, I mean, got the one kill, but getting good farm there.
So now Havos, speak of the devil, moves into a Yasha after the Morbid Mask. Things looking a little better for him.
He's had the Yasha. He got the Yasha first, I believe.
Oh, did he?
It was like a phase Yasha, or he's had the Yasha for some time.
Ah, okay. So pulling up the goal, maybe a Manta style on the way for him. Phoenix, Tranquil Boots into Ring of Health. Curious how Funnick's actually looking to build this hero.
Suggesting, I guess, a pipe.
Okay.
Magic. If he gets silenced, there's a lot of magic damage. The SF ultimate is almost guaranteed to go for the BKB. So I guess they're thinking, let's get pipe mech and just 5-man team fight to some extent.
Okay.
Fight around the. I mean, they don't want to go late game. They want to get the most kind of cost-effective items they can, and then take team fights or look to take objectives. I don't think they can go well into the late game with just troll.
Well, we got a rotation. It'll turn into a hook shot right onto Go Black. There's the Ancient Seal to follow up. And old Lichy going to be taken out in the mid lane. Will Na'Vi come to make another fight? No, instead they'll go for a little rune control. And this time Dendy gets himself the invisibility rune in the bottle. And in the mid lane, Vengeful Spirit actually gets scouted out here. Stolen Rocket Flare on the Rubik. But Melody will be okay.
Feels like the one saving grace for Na'Vi right now is that they have done a good job of shutting down the Ember Spirit and slowing him down. His items, his farm has just not been that impressive. He was a safe lane farmer as well, so I feel like he should be up more like around the 7k net worth mark, but a few ganks going his way and just a few times he's gone a bit too aggressive. I mean, he's actually a lot further behind than he should be.
This game is a little bit more even than I sort of would think it is based on the momentum of Speed putting the pressure on. Speed only ahead by about 1,000 net worth, but it's Na'Vi with like a 3,000 experience lead right now, which is a little bit surprising. A lot of that coming from Havos. He is topping the chart as Shadow Fiend catches up to him, but a strikingly even game, even though it kind of feels like Speed are the ones controlling the tempo right now.
Yeah, and for Na'Vi, it's just they are staying kind of on par and keeping up with farm to some extent, keeping up with XP. It's hard to see the long-term plan apart from fighting around like a maybe Havos BKB. BKB is essential this game. All 5 of these heroes, you want to get BKB again. So looks he's picked up Mithril. Oh, he's got a full BKB. I think Na'Vi looked to take Roshan and then kind of 5-man around the BKB and ideally a Go Black mech, which isn't quite ready. Okay, he's only a 50 gold off the mech. So.
Yeah, he's just about there.
Yeah. So this is actually a good timing. They've got mech, they've got troll BKB, they can team fight, they can roach, they can push towers. Na'Vi have a lot of options. Suddenly when for the last 15 minutes they've just been letting SpeedGaming control the tempo. Yeah,
I feel like Havos is like right on that edge right now of maybe just like balling out of control. He's a good bit up on the Shadow Fiend, and now with this BKB, I feel like there's a chance if Na'Vi can take a good team fight here that Havos can really get scary and be hard to deal with. This next fight will be pretty telling about the next 5 to 10 minutes of this game, I feel like.
I have scouted out. I'd be surprised if SpeedGaming looked to initiate in. Like, you don't think you can really hook Havos. You don't have any kind of burst damage to go. Like, you get like a small stun with the hook shot, but you can't, unless you chain stun it perfectly with a magic missile, that fight goes horrible for you. So I think SpeedGaming should probably look to get out of here. Go farm their jungle, farm their ancients, and stay near enough that they can contest Na'Vi if they go for Roshan.
Na'Vi make a smoke rotation, and it has not been scouted out. They will clear out a ward as they walk through. Is this
I think they worried Speed were roaching, but now they may just go themselves for it.
Yeah.
Immediately skyed by Venge.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate for Havos, but
still going.
Maybe they'll bait this out. Go Black Series does have a Chain Frost available.
This timing from the mech and BKB, but
Na'Vi will bait this. They know that they can see it, and they're just ready to try and take a fight here. They're confident of their ability outside of the pit. Goblek in the front lines. Can he get off the Chain Frost before he goes down? Dendy goes in with a dunk, brings down the Skywrath right away. Requiem channels hits most of Na'Vi, but in comes the Ember Spirit. That'll pop Dendy, Lich, and oh boy, it's actually a pretty equal trade. Shadow Fiend on the run. The laser doing a lot of damage. It's Havost that cleans it up. It seemed like Speed had that fight, then all of a sudden Na'Vi just erupted with this explosion of damage, and it's a 2-for-5 trade.
The Chain Frost just did so much damage. Dendy as well. Like, he ends up going down there, but they kept the Lich alive. The Lich mech was what made it. He got the ulti off because he just purchased that mech. And he got the Chain Frost off, did a ton of damage, and they just had to use... I think they realized like the Chain Frost was the one spell that was going to ruin them, and they committed to try and prevent Lich from getting it off, but couldn't do so.
All right.
Big win.
Yeah, big win for sure. Na'Vi not only take that big team fight, but now Havos, you look at net worth, he's up by a big margin over that Shadow Fiend. Now with an Aegis of the Immortal in tow, he is feeling good. And let's see, he's already picked up something, maybe 700 gold. Yep, looks like SNY will be his next item of choice.
Okay. So suddenly, the tables kind of turned a bit. Na'Vi are going to... I mean, I feel like once they got the BKB in the mech, they were the ones in control. It was just SpeedGaming didn't quite realize it just yet. It was like a...
Just look at that gold graph, dude. That's like a 5,000 gold swing, just straight down.
Holy moly.
Yeah, that's like the drop from that huge roller coaster in Six Flags. What the hell's it called? King Dakar.
I'm not getting on that roller coaster, I tell you that. I look at that, I'm just like, nope, I'm...
Not for me, boys. I'll be sitting here eating my Vegemite watching you guys throw up. Thanks.
Yeah. I'll pass on that one. So, SpeedGaming, I think they're going to look at that fight and be, well, it's our turn to sit back, try get some more farm on the Shadow Fiend, the Ember Spirit's Battle Fury, and they need to get to a point where they can whittle down Havos BKB so he doesn't have a full 10-second BKB, and also just ensure they get an instant clean pickup in a fight. I don't know... Like, the Clockwork hooked the Lich that there wasn't like a Skywrath Silence plus Mystic Flare. They need to use that Clockwork, like, Cogs plus Mystic Flare combo to get a key target. I think it was Denny's Echo Slam that hit the Skywrath Mage and got that really nice counter initiation on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's blinked in and just isolated him. I think he hit him with a dunk, then hit him with the totem, and that was plenty of damage. Now the Ember Spirit could be in a little bit of trouble here. He's got a Remnant down at the Tier 1 bottom. He'll jump to it straight away. And he'll be safe for now. Has a TP scroll, but trying to hang on to it. Wants to be a little greedier here. Puts another Remnant down, and now he's going to go poking around. Bumps into Havost, hops right to the Remnant, TP's out, and no way to interrupt it.
That's a nice play there. They dodge a smoke gank. They waste a lot of Navi's time, who are going to go for the Tier 1, but already pressure on the Tier 2 mid, pressure on the Tier 2 top. This is the right move to be making for SpeedGaming. Navi going to probably look to take the Tier 1 and just leave Havos there. They need to rotate and make sure that SpeedGaming don't get either of these towers and also just don't get too much farm.
So 13-13, 24 minutes in. It's Na'Vi with a slight lead, but still a pretty even slugfest. As we mentioned, both these teams up 1-0 right now in the opener of this group stage. And only one team can move on to be undefeated, gods. These teams, they came, they're ready, and I love that already in this tournament we're seeing some pretty crazy picks. We're seeing a core shaker in our second game of the tournament. I mean, that is just speaks volumes to the state of Dota 2 right now. We had a pick
in our first game, and there was a Chen Sniper game. We're
off to a good start here. If this is just a little bit of a precursor of what the rest of the event has in store, this is just the wild card. These aren't even the big teams yet.
I think that's the thing. Like, we've seen a lot of teams play, and like at Starlight, everyone that's kind of going for the same picks. But I think your Secrets, your newbies, your VG Gamings, they're going to be like, well, they're first picking Axe every game, but that's not what we're going to do. We think these other heroes, these strats are the way to play. So those teams aren't just going to be looking to kind of go with the trends. These are the teams that are going to be looking to innovate and find the next big thing.
I love it. So both teams here taking a little bit more of a passive turn as we're well into this mid-game. Roche, or pardon me, the Aegis, still going to be up for about another minute and 10 seconds or so. Maybe the timing that Na'Vi want to hit to try and make something happen here. They've got Havos in the front lines up top as they rotate 4 heroes. Funnick will go down bottom to try and repel the likes of the Shadow Fiend. Funnick is also committing to the pipe, by the way. He picked up his Hood of Defiance.
He went back for the overcome, though. Oh, I think it may just be a casual hood. Maybe like a personal hood for his own survivability, but he doesn't care about his teams. His team have 2 BKBs. They're going to have 2 BKBs. With Troll already having one, Earthshaker close to one. End of the day, it's like, yeah, your supports, you don't want to buy a support just to, you don't want to buy a pipe just to save your supports necessarily.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point.
Got null field, level 3 null field.
I actually that's a good point. I actually have mixed feelings about pipe right now. I was on that pipe train. You know, I was believing the Merlini hype that pipe is the big underloved item, but after talking to some pros at Star Ladder and what have you, the general consensus seemed to be that it's like a good, not great item. Like its value just isn't there, mostly because it's a core hero that needs to farm it quickly for it to have a lot of utility, but all of your core heroes need to prioritize other items to really do a lot of damage. So you get stuck in this. If a support gets it, they're going to be getting it too late before it can really do much. So where it actually fits in for who's going to farm it is just up in the air for most
Yeah,
games.
exactly. Supports can't really farm it. Cores would prefer a BKB. If you're dying to magic damage, rather than get a pipe for your team, you're like, well, I'm helping out my supports who will die anyways. Like, end of the day, even if they get piped, they're probably still dead. So you just negate all magic damage by getting a BKB. The cost is what's really off-putting about the pipe. It's 3.6k gold or something, and that's just... Yeah. It's not value.
It's a little bit cheaper than a BKB, but it just is not...
Yeah.
It's not quite there. And it's also one of those items that if it was much cheaper or more cost-effective, it could be very easily be broken because it's just too cost-effective. So it's in an odd spot, but the consensus seems to be that in most games, even against heavy magic damage, it just simply is not worth the investment. So, we'll see. I'd love to see a pipe, though. It is definitely an underloved item.
Yeah. Actually, it picks up the sand, not BKB for funning. That's curious.
So, probably a halberd, I'd have to imagine.
I think you're imagining correct.
Pretty good against the Ember Spirit. He will go into his Battle Fury.
It's like, I feel like it's okay against Ember and okay against SF, but it seems like it's still like a weird-ish choice. The BKB makes sense because if he gets silenced or stunned to start off a fight and doesn't have the egg, it's a pretty big deal, but...
Yeah, I guess the evasion gives him some decent EHP. Maybe that's kind of what he's thinking about. It's like that. You're not going to go a butterfly, so it's kind of that middle ground.
He's tanky. I think to some extent it's like, well, he doesn't get BKB, so they're actually going in with the nukes, and he can soak up a lot of damage. Because at the end of the day, he's not that important to keep alive. And hey, if he gets off the egg, great. And if Fennec dies in a fight, it's not really a big deal anymore. For Na'Vi, it's going to be about keeping Dendi as well as Havost alive in these fights. And even the Rubik, I feel, can do a lot more if he steals some big spells.
Down bottom, looks like a fight could break out. Wrap around from the Skywrath. Silence on the Van score, but he'll show off that Blink Dagger he's picked up. And Ruby Tuesday will be just fine. Shadow Fiend, he's now 16. He has his Manta, and Skywrath actually finds his level 11 also. So things looking pretty okay for speed. Outside of Havost, who's still farming like a madman. Everything else looking okay for the Radiant.
I think this game's just going late game at this point. Neither team's wanting to commit to anything. Na'Vi just happy to sit back and get their work on their farm here. Probably just wait for the next Roshan, and even then they can maybe take some tier 2 towers off of it, but SpeedGaming can look to stall them. I think they've got amazing high ground defense as well in general. Like pushing into Clockwork and the Ember Spirit is just a nightmare. So.
Both teams. This is one of these matchups where like both teams have really good high ground defense.
Yeah.
Troll, Earthshaker, Phoenix, not fun heroes to push in. Even Rubik and Lich, pretty good supports once they have that high ground. Your Chain Frost bouncing around, stealing a Requiem or whatever else you can. You can steal a hookshot just to initiate as they're coming to the high ground. A lot of opportunities for Na'Vi to defend, and for speed, like you were rattling off all these heroes. The swap, you know, into a Skywrath Mage, very easy just to isolate one hero, bring him down. So kind of not surprising to see both teams taking a little bit more of a passive turn and kind of play it safe in what is kind of a big match here in our second heat.
The Na'Vi, Havost is staying a full item ahead of the Shadow Fiend, and this itemization is just the right way to go. The Skadi pickup is just going to allow... If they do get like an Aegis, it allows them to siege that a little bit better with all the stats and the tankiness it gives you. You can man fight better against the Shadow Fiend in general. The slows go through BKB, so his item and farm progression is fantastic. I'm curious to see what Dendi goes. So he's kind of the...
So you're just pulling up money this whole time?
No, he's not got that much money, but it's more like...
Oh, he went BKB, okay.
Yeah, he got the BKB, but it's more like, where does he go next? Because this game feels like it's going to go another 15-20 minutes.
Yeah.
Supernova mid.
Okay. Oh, they bring down the egg and the Chain Frost. Just a little too late. It seemed like a pretty close call.
It's the space creator at this time being.
Now they go onto the Venge. Force Staff keeps her okay. Avos comes in. Battle Trance on. A few more axes. He gets the kill there. BKB's on as he gets silenced. Van score. Blink forward. Telekinesis. Shadow Fiend pops the BKB. Manta, but Havost, can he find the kill? A few more auto attacks. Oh my gosh, the Clockwork. He keeps the Shadow Fiend alive. It's just a 1-for-1.
What a player. The Cog's blocking the entire path while he's BKB'd and then hits him with the damage. This guy's clock is insane.
That was about as close as it gets for that Shadow Fiend. He was one axe away from death, and he walks away. Na'Vi hoping for a Roche here, but not going to be that fast timing that they wanted, and we'll have to linger around for another minute or so.
Yep.
No, 30 seconds, rather.
So, initiation mid lane. They want to vault. They know his BKB's on cooldown.
Yeah, but he does a lot of return damage. The Clockwork gets low. Havost still alive for now. Stolen Cogs, giving that Clockwork a taste of his own medicine. Havost on the run. The Doves may be enough to kill him. No, he lives. And they turn it around on the Ember and the Clock. Now they heal him up with the Urn, the Laser, or the Sun Ray, I guess I should call it. And Na'Vi turn it around again. And now this will open up Roche. They walk into the pit right as he spawns. Havost says, today I'm 5.
See if you can say it that way. Today's the day. You get into this is it. You got to play well today. You get into the main event.
Yeah, that's true. This is the big day. This is at least the first milestone.
That fight just showing the power of Velocifield. Having that much raw HP, the Skadi keeping him alive. Even the return damage off the blade mail, and I mean eventually he's like, oh, I should probably stop fighting, but he's just so tanky.
Yeah, I feel like when I saw that Clockwork hopped in, I could just picture the player's expression like on his face as he jumps in, like, all right, guys, I got him, blade mail on, returns all this damage, and they're just like, wait, he's got way more HP than I do. Oh no, it's just, he's so big.
Scarif did decent damage, but that was a full Mystic Flare, Ancient Seal, a couple Arcane Bolts even.
That was everything. That was like the full arsenal. Incredible. Now they just move into this tier 2 tower, and with the battle trance, they just melt it. The glyph comes out right away, but very difficult for Speed to pose much of a meaningful defense here. And look at this. They'll just leave Havost tanking the tower, the Sun Ray healing him up faster than the tower can do damage.
Yeah, this is going to be Phoenix's new role. He's the healer, the support of the team.
All right. How many points does he have in the Sun Ray? Let's see here. Is it maxed out now? Yeah, okay. He's level 14, so.
He did go very... Often you see like just 2 points in the dive and then the max Sun Ray, but he got a few more.
Okay, now the fight breaking out. Van score. Oh, hook shot on 2. But now the Clockwork. Stun brought down for the turn. Havost uses the BKB, goes to the high ground. Dendi hops forward. They get the kill on the Shadow Fiend. BKBs make it happen for Na'Vi as the Supernova flies through. Looks like it won't connect with anything, but Phoenix will reset a little bit here as he comes back with full health. Oh, Ember Spirit gets isolated. Now Dendi comes in. The Core Shaker given in the totem. It's a 1 for 3. They lose their Rubik. Buyback now on the Ember as Na'Vi take another successful team fight. And the tier 3 tower in mid taking some damage. The glyph was used at the tier 2, so now they have no way to make an easy defense of Vost without a BKB. Needs to be a little careful, but hey, he's got the Aegis. He'll be all right. That will be the end of it. Funnick trying to use the Sun Ray to pick him up, but I think Na'Vi okay with trading away the Aegis in that manner.
Yeah, and they can even look to potentially re-engage. Without the Skywrath ultimate, Havos is pretty unkillable, but for now they're going to regroup, probably heal up a little bit. SF will be respawning soon, so maybe not the one to fight SpeedGaming at full strength, but Na'Vi just fight up to fight, going pretty damn well for them. And
yeah. I mean, just look at this net worth now, though. This is such a disparity. Havost at like 20k. You've got the Shadow Fiend around 13k. It was even-ish by just a little bit. Now it's like a 50% margin across these two cores.
Yeah.
And this is where the Troll, you look at him at this size, and just how do you deal with him? Net worth about 10,000 in favor of Na'Vi. What do you do to start dealing with the Troll at this point? I mean, well, it seems like they've already dropped their arsenal.
They're already, like, Troll's already building the MKB to handle the SF's evasion, so in general, it's run away. If he's BKB'd, you run like hell. If he's not BKB'd, you burst him down if you have everything. You need your ultimates. You need Skywrath, Mystic Flare. You need to be lumping on as much magic damage as you can and lock him in place, but that's only if you've got like enough magic damage. It's basically run unless you can burst him down.
Yeah. Okay. I can see
and
that.
And bursting him down is very tricky. The Frost Armor makes him a lot tankier. It slows down your entire team. You combine it with the Skadi slow. There's slows from the dive. So if you don't kill him, you're all dead.
Yeah. So I want to make note of this Phoenix build. Looks like a fight is going to break out in the mid here. Savos goes to the high ground. Cogs will knock him back down. But the Phoenix went for the hood, then picked up a Sange, and now goes back for the pipe. And it's Dendi that buys the halberd on the Earthshaker. So just doing the itemizing a bit different than we would have thought. But we'll hold that thought. Swap onto Havost. He's going to be in deep, but BKB keeps him safe, returns a lot of damage. Supernova used off to the side. Clockwork goes down. Phoenix will be okay. Again, the Supernova not really going to do anything in the way of damage or stun, but Funnick will live. Icarus dive out to safety. Na'Vi did clear out one of the barracks. I believe it was the melee. No, never mind. No, they didn't. Pardon me. So, all right, just to pick on the Clockwork.
Havos back to full HP. The sustain, like you back off, Havos gets low from all the ultis and the spells, but it's round 2 now. And he's back more or less full HP.
Going for the ranged barracks. Battle trance is on, just throwing out those axes. Stun and a defensive swap stolen by the Rubik. Nicely played by Vanscourt. Dendy hops forward. He does drop the dunk. Navi unable to secure any kill past this. Ranged barracks go down now. The rest of the fight breaking out. The Shadow Fiend doing what damage he can. They'll lose their Venge in the fray. And it'll be SpeedGaming on the back foot as they're relegated to the well, and Navi left to go to work on this melee barracks that's still standing. They'll actually leave it. They get the range backs before making the retreat.
I think it's the first time I've seen like a defensive Requiem. He used that Requiem from like behind the Raxes just for the minus physical damage. He's like, let's slow down their push by just casting a Requiem from long range. I don't think I've seen a play like that before. That's when you know you're in deep shit.
Yeah.
Like, there was not much of an answer for SpeedGaming for that push. The sustain, Havos on the front lines, doesn't even need an Aegis with the Phoenix backing up. And I mean, the topic of the Phoenix is, end of the day, Phoenix is not here for... the items is kind of like a non-factor, I think. At this point, he's just there to sit back, heal Havos, go in and kind of initiate and force spells on himself, and then hopefully get off the Supernova and live. If he dies, doesn't really matter. Navi back off. It's a small loss for them. If he lives, they've won the fight, which is what happened. He got the Supernova off. They couldn't deal with the egg, and Havos, meanwhile, is just manning up, taking out the range racks, and giving Navi a really big edge here.
Yeah. So Rubik picking up an ultimate orb, maybe looking towards a Scythe of Vice, maybe thinking about a Linken's, couple of options there, but it's Havos with the big items. Farm continuing to be impressive, and now the MKB after the Scotty picked up, and now very tanky and adding a lot of damage to the fray.
Yeah. I don't know if there's much of an answer for Havos. Even with his BKB now down to, well, 6 seconds, getting close to that 5-second mark. Not sure if it's enough.
Yeah, Ember Spirit. His items are getting a little bit better now with the Battle Fury and Crit complete, but here we go. Isolated down bottom. Vanscourt starts it off, and Havos just brings him down.
Oh my god. I'm like, can they burst him down?
Oh, now in the mid. Dendy with the initiate on Avenge. Uses the dunk, secures the kill there. BKB on, isolating the Clockwork. They still find the kill. It's fun if it gets credit for it. A 3-for-0 across the map for Navi, and even a Supernova used for good measure.
Well,
things starting to look a little rough for SpeedGaming here in their second game.
Dendy is just, he's beast moding. These totem hits are just,
they're so big.
Plus 588. Okay.
It's pretty disgusting.
That's where strength items are really good. Like the Halberd gives you more strength, more base damage, which is more damage to amplify for the Earthshaker. So.
My, with the Venge Aura plus like 619.
That's negative. No, that's negative.
Oh, that's negative.
He's going to hit harder when the Venge.
What did he? Did somebody have a Vlad's or something? He bumped into something that gave him a little extra. But still, very, very just potent core shaker here. And this was even with kind of a bad start. I mean, Dendy, for all intents and purposes, lost that mid lane. And this is the recovery that you can make. That one kill to get him towards that Blink Dagger is all the momentum he needed to really turn this around.
And that one Roche fight, that was just...
Yeah, that's true. That was the kind of nail in the coffin almost. That was...
And at that point, that was like Navi had finally got their items where they could fight, and then SpeedGaming gave them the team fight that Navi wanted. It was like, you should see those items and play keep away. Like, if you see Navi go down one lane into your jungle, you go to their jungle, you go to another lane. You just have to avoid fights, and SF could have kept up on farm. He shouldn't be this far behind. Ember Spirit should be a faster farmer than the Earthshaker in general. Like, SpeedGaming just tried too much to take the fight to Navi when they didn't need to.
Well, now Shadow Fiend completes his butterfly, but unfortunately the MKB is already out, so all that yummy EHP that comes from the evasion will be mitigated already. Navi holding on to a very comfortable 23,000 net worth lead as Roche respawn right around the corner.
Yeah, I don't know if Havos even cares about taking it. It's got so much good support that him dying is unlikely. And this blink is
true.
Hard to deal with as well.
Oh, we'll see it in use here. Goes right onto the Shadow Fiend. He'll Manta straight away. Havos, he'll just BKB. Cogs kind of in his way, but sort of not really. Just start throwing axe over him. Clockwork takes some good damage. Trade to BKB for a lot of right clicks, but no kills.
Yeah, I mean, 50 seconds, his BKB's down to 5 seconds anyway, so it's just a cooldown that he's got to wait for at this point. It's not something he needs to preserve.
We got the crit shaker here, gods. The Crystallis is out. Dendy's ready for the big numbers. I'm ready for the big numbers. Mid and bottom lane of barracks down, only one standing. Radiant side in a lot of trouble here. They won't have a glyph coming up for this fight. So if they lose this one, they're going to be in deep doo-doo. Hook shot in, right onto Havos. He'll be silenced. Skywrath Mage drops the ulti. Requiem of Souls flies through. They get the kill onto Funnick before he can Requiem. Or, pardon me, get the egg off. Dendi comes in, brings down the Venge. Now they've lost their clockwork. They just go ham on the Shadow Fiend. Havos still barely alive. Silence. The Arcane Bolt will chase him down. Double Arcane Bolt. He blinks back. But can he actually live?
He BKBs him.
Oh, my Havos.
Oh.
He lives! The Ember Sphere not going to be so lucky, and this looks like the beginning of the end for Speed. Coming out in this game, there it is. They'll tap out. GG. Na'Vi starting off 2-0 in the wild card groups. Now moving into the first slot, and got to be feeling good after a performance like that.
Havos just continuing his streak of amazing play for this Na'Vi team. I think him and as well as Vangscore's been doing really solid on the support role. Vangscore's Rubik obviously great, but he just gets a lot done on the Rubik as a, in some ways, kind of the